But yeah, I mean, I like that.
All
That's
right.
that's Dolphins. Dolphins by 3.5. Joe
All
Mixon
right,
to score
folks.
anytime. Jalen Waddle. Yeah.
We are here, brother. We're here with South Beach Cody. Welcome to the TD Report this week. I missed you last week. I was down there at Virginia Tech jumping around with the crowd. Even though we got smashed, I was down there on the field jumping around with the crowd. It was all good. I tried to go live, but I couldn't because there's no build back better down there in Virginia. Get your shit together, man. Y'all got to get some infrastructure money. But we're here, baby. What's up, Dave? Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Tony? What's up, Cody? Hey, the original
What's up,
show.
fellas?
It's a long time since we had our three of us on here. Hey,
Just three,
Yeah,
guys,
right?
welcome to
somebody
the
been
TV. Welcome to the TV
somebody been
report. We
terminated.
got Cody Bennett down in Miami, getting himself ready. I guess. How's the hurricane? You dodging the hurricane, right? You good?
Man, we got about 15, 20 minutes of rain and sun, and barely a cloud in the sky after that.
Okay.
It missed us
Tony,
completely.
Tony, how you doing? You ready? All
Good,
right.
brother.
Hey, we've got a big show tonight, packed show full of stuff. So let's run these topics down, right? Thursday night game tonight. Let's talk about that. Dolphins Bengals. Bengals need this game. We're not really sure about how well Tua's going to play. He had the back injury from last week, but the Dolphins are riding high. They're one of the. There's only two undefeated teams left in the NFL. They're one of them, Dolphins and Eagles. So the Dolphins for tonight, trying to solidify that 3-0 record, put themselves atop the entire NFL. If they win tonight, they're the NFL's best team.
I think they are. I already think they're the NFL's best team because they beat who we think the best team or thought the best team was in Buffalo. They're playing great ball. I'm gonna leave this up to Cody because
Yep.
he was the one calling them all year. Maybe because he lived down there and he's a little biased right now. So go ahead, Cody.
There's nothing.
Tell
Come
us
on,
about
man.
this
You,
team.
you 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 know I believe nothing but burgundy or gold, and that's the only way my bias
That,
usually flows, if
yeah,
any at
well, I
all.
don't want to
Uh
hear that
oh.
noise.
But
I don't want to hear
yeah,
that
nah,
noise.
nah. Look, man. I saw just being down here and being a lot closer with the media. I mean, I saw a lot of the talk that came out of their camp. I saw a lot of stuff that was coming out of there, and I mean, the kid has been poised for a great year, and they literally surrounded him with all the right talent. Got him a coach who knows how to work with that style of offense that I feel that he needs to be successful. And they lined it up and laid out the blueprint for it in camp and in training camp in the preseason, and it played out well there. So it was literally a recipe for success that basically showed itself, and that's why I was high on him to begin with. I mean, I said he was going to have a breakout year. I said this was his year at all. I even told you a couple episodes ago with my bold prediction that they might win their division this year, which I think they really might. I mean, if they beat Buffalo one more time,
Inside track. Yeah, they've got the inside track
I
of the
mean, and
division.
so I
Yeah.
mean, I've been saying it the whole time, and I really think that this is their year. I think they have all the weapons to succeed. I think with their coach being new into this system, there's not too much that can really be scouted on his tendencies at this point. I mean, obviously there is when you dig deep, but as far as overall head coaching and just the way that staff works over there in Miami, it's kind of like they're working in the shadows at this point because they're just beating everybody in ways they didn't think that they could.
Mhm.
And that's the big thing. And I think that they're going to come out tonight and finish when those clocks hit 00 as 4-0 and still undefeated.
I don't think that this game is a must win for Cincinnati. It's a win. They need to win to feel good about themselves. But
Right.
since this is not a division game, this is not a must win. But this is a must play well. They have got to show up tonight. They've got to show up tonight and play well.
It's going to
What
depend
do
on
you
if
think?
that line shows up at Cincy, because if they don't block for Joe Burrow like they should, he's going to keep having the same tail of the tape every week. I mean, that
He
line
takes
is
too.
abysmal.
We've been saying this about Joe Burrow since forever. He takes too many hits, takes
Way
too
too
many
many.
risks, holds onto the football too long. Just if he could fix two of those three things, just don't hold that football too long. He has got
Well,
to he's got to do better within the framework of his offense. And sometimes a play just has to be let go of. Just
for
turn the page
news
for another play.
For news on tonight's game, though, Tua is active 100%, and so is Jalen Waddle. So both will be on the field.
Okay. Uh, like you said, I passed along that information. I like Waddle to get a touchdown tonight. What do you think?
I think he will.
Yeah. What do you think, Tony?
You get to
I
see the
mean-
Waddle.
you doing the Waddle, huh? What do you think about this? What do you think about the Bengals having to play well tonight? I think they have to show well so that they can build on something.
I think this is a must. This is a must win for the Bengals. They can't get too far behind Cleveland without Deshaun Watson. But you remember, I told you the Bengals are cursed this year because they lost the Super Bowl. I'm going to say it again. In 56 years, only 8 teams who lost the Super Bowl has gotten back to the Super Bowl. It's just one of those things. Called the Super Bowl losers curse. So
True that. All right, let's move on here. Here on the TD Report, I'm your host, David Combs. We're going to move on here to what we in the D.C. area consider a big rivalry, Washington and Dallas. The Commanders are going to travel down to AT&T and take on the 2-1 Cowboys with Cooper Rush at quarterback. They took it on the chin from the Eagles last week. A really bad showing. This is, again, even though it is a division game, I don't think this is a must-win for Washington. This is a must-play well for Washington. I think they've got to look good in that first half.
I think this is a must-win for the morale of the fan base, the morale of the players, and to set the tone for the season moving forward. If they lose this game, this will be a even more abysmal season than anyone thought it was going to be.
Wow.
They need to win this game.
So you feel
they're
that
already talking – I mean, I'm seeing on Twitter people already talking about benching Carson Wentz.
You can't bench him yet.
It's been 3 weeks, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to win this game.
If you bench so from a strategic standpoint, if you bench Carson Wentz now,
it's not even an entertainable option.
They're not going to. It's not going to happen.
It's 3 weeks.
It's not going to happen. It's unfathomable to do that. This is why I don't like Twitter. Hey, Jody, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
Jody Coleman joining us. Jody, we're talking Washington, Dallas right now on the TD Report. So, Cody, my feeling is this, and I'm going to let Tony chime in on this. I think this is a must-play well for Washington, mainly for this. The last 2 games that they played, they have been a combined, I think it's 47 or 48-0 deficit in the first half. They've got to put, number one, they've got to put some points on the board in the first half. It'll be the first time in 2 weeks, and they've got to be close at half. I do think Dallas can win this game. I think Dallas should win this game, but Washington has got to play well so that they can have a base to build on something coming forward. They can't afford to go 1-3, though. What do you think, Tony?
Well, I know this rivalry since 75, 76. And what I don't do is count anyone out. Now, looking at this game, you can go either way because Dallas is actually playing with a backup quarterback.
Correct.
I mean, to tell you the truth. But the backup quarterback has helped Dallas regain what they're supposed to have been doing, which is running the ball and doing what they're supposed to do. Now, if Dallas defense wasn't so good, where they've only given up a touchdown each game, they've only given up 3 touchdowns the whole year. 3. So they're averaging 1 a game. If Dallas defense was, say, like last year's defense, waiting on a turnover, especially 2 years ago defense, I would actually give the edge to Washington in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing Dallas defense is pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't seem like the Washington's O-line is as great as we think.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the difference of the game is going to be Dallas's defense dominating Washington's O-line and dictating the game. Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Dallas' offense is that great to go at Washington's defense,
Mm-hmm.
which to me is very, very talented. Back half is very, very talented. Probably one of the best D-lines, and their back half is very underrated. So, I mean, I see a 27, 17, 20 games, somewhere around there, 20 to 14 games.
What do you think? What do you think, Jody?
I think
Dallas and Washington.
I really think in this game that Dallas. I looked up some stats, and Dallas is on the bottom half of scoring. I think they're like they're like third from the bottom.
Number 30. Number 30.
So they're number 30 in scoring, but defensively they give up 17 points a game, which is top tier in the NFL.
Top 5.
Top 9. They're 9th overall.
9th overall.
Oh, they're 9th overall indeed. Okay.
Now, the reason why it's so significant for both ball clubs because if the Washington Commanders can win this game, they go to 2-2, and the Cowboys will be 2-2. I like the Cowboys in this game for the simple fact that they use the formula that they use on Monday night, running the football and playing good defense, like I've always been preaching. I'm old school. If you can run the ball and you can stop the run, you got a chance in this league. But the kicker is, and I heard Cody saying this, that you can't bench Carson Wentz just yet. But Ron Rivera is known for throwing people up under the bus. And he's going to do whatever it takes for him not to lose his job. And the only way that he won't lose his job if he go 1-4, 1-5, is say that I got a younger quarterback that we trying to grow on. Because if they go with Carson Wentz, a guy they spent this much money on, and they're 1-5, and he's yet to have a winning season with the Commanders, he has to find a way to keep his job. And we know, after all the reports come out, that he's been throwing everybody under the bus but himself. So that's why I think it's very significant for Carson Wentz to play well so he can't be benched because he's going to be the scapegoat even though it's not Carson Wentz's fault. But I got the Cowboys in this game. It's not going to be high scoring. It's going to be like a 19-16 game because neither teams are impressive to me on the offensive side of the ball. So I like the Cowboys to do it because they're going to control the clock with the running game.
So, Cody, can you run us down on any injuries on either side? We saw Micah Parsons in the Monday night game. Again, short week for Dallas because they played on Monday night. We saw Micah Parsons sucking down Pedialyte like it was nothing. So he might have been a little bit under the weather. Let's see. DeMarcus Lawrence looked like he was a little dinged up. But what are your thoughts on the injury front? I know Wes Schweitzer for Washington, offensive lineman. I think he's going to be out. That's not a good sign.
Well, it all depends. We've had some limited practices. We still have a couple practices under our belt before the final injury report of the week will be released. But I'm fairly confident that nobody who's not expected to, be out is going to be out. There's going to be no surprises unless something, crazy happens in practice within the next couple of days for either team. But I don't think there's going to be anything crazy. Michael Gallup still isn't set to start for Dallas yet. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be the same guys that you've seen for the past couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do hope that we will have Jackson back, but I'm not too sure. I mean, it all depends on what he does throughout the week, obviously. I didn't see practice reports today, so I'm not too sure of who was in and who was out today. But again, it's not going to be any surprises unless something crazy happens within the next couple of days.
Okay. Hey, Cody, is Dalton Schultz playing this week for Dallas?
I know that there was talks of him playing. And matter of fact, let me just pull this up now for you guys. One of Dallas's trainers was on one of the local radio shows. He said the way that Dallas does things is they want to see a guy go through at least 2 full practices before they cut them loose and put them out there. So, yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of times with limited practices, though, I mean, these guys will attend limited practices throughout the whole week, even logging limited on Friday. I mean, and sometimes they'll even hold them out at early practice of the week, give them just maybe 2 or 3 limited practices, and they'll still go out full speed on Sunday. Yeah. Schultz, he was limited practice on today. I mean, there's not really – it doesn't look like there's much doubt that he's going to be playing. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be in. He's already logged 2 limited practices this week alone. I mean, don't get me wrong, fantasy-wise, you're going to want to look for a full practice before really feeling too confident about throwing him out there. But with as thin as tight ends are in fantasy, if he's a go, you need to plug him in. Unless you have a great option outside of him, which is unlikely. But if he's on your team and he's playing, get him in your lineup.
So moving on to the next topic that I had, the situation in I almost called them San Diego, situation with the Los Angeles Chargers. Injuries, man. Injuries. Joey Bosa looks like he's headed to surgery on I believe that's a groin.
Tear. Groin
What's
tear.
that?
He had a groin tear.
Groin tear. I don't know how long he's going to be out. We have to wait for the surgery and just see what the prognosis is. But you've lost Rashawn Stanley for the year, potentially with the torn biceps. You've got Justin Herbert, ribs.
No, he was a full participant in practice yesterday and today. He's good to go.
I don't want him hit on them ribs, man. I just, just watching the NFC East all those years and remembering Tony Romo, who did take the shot. He took the shot where he tried to play with ribs. It's really difficult to play with ribs. I mean, it impacts your throwing motion, anything across your midsection that hits you if you're a quarterback. It's really hard to work with. I want to see how effective Herbert can be, but when you add in the additional injuries, your left tackle is out. You've got your defensive tackle that's out, at least for a few weeks. I don't know what the roster move is going to be there for Bosa, but hey, thanks, Shane. Shane Hillard says it's going to be tough to hang in that division. That's exactly
I think it is. I think it is.
We need to get him on the show. That's exactly where I'm going.
The Raiders are 0-3, guys. I mean, I don't think it's going to be that tough, really, to hang in that division at all for who they are. We're 3 weeks into the league. These teams are figuring out their identities for the changes that they've made, and they're trying to get back in shape with some injuries that they brought back into the. I mean, give it 2 more weeks before we really start deciding what these teams are going to look like all the way till week 18. I don't think it's going to be hard for the Chargers at all to compete in that division. I think they're going to be battling for first place throughout the whole season.
What do you think, Jody?
See, I always said, Tony and Cody was pretty high on the chart. I never was high on the Chargers.
No, I was. They're my Super Bowl.
You were too?
They're my Super Bowl pick.
I don't care if they had a full roster. I just wasn't sold on what they had because up the middle, they're very soft up the middle at the D tackle position. I think they should have went with Jordan Davis in the draft. That was one that would have changed. And they went away
that would have been
Jordan
beautiful.
Davis.
That would have been
But they
beautiful.
went away from that. Right now, injuries, the most significant one, Bosa is a huge injury, but Rashad Slater being out, it's hard to replace the left.
That's big.
Rashawn Stanley,
No, Slater.
Rashawn Slater, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really hard to solidify that left tackle because there's not a lot of left tackles on the board that's going to be able to come in without you using that tight end chip. Not to mention they're missing Guyton, which is their third or fourth option at the receiver position. He's going.
I like DeAndre Carter as that replacement though a lot.
Right. Yeah. I mean, actually,
former DC guy.
For catches in that offense anyway.
Yeah.
But my thing is, when you got rib injuries, they play against the Texans, who are better defensively than people give them credit for. The next week after that, they got the Browns and Myles Garrett because he's going to be playing this week and he'll be ready for next week. He's going to take a lot of hits on the ribs, and if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to send blitzes even if I don't get to him, and I'm hitting him directly in his chest all game long.
Schultz will be wearing a brace as well, Jody. Schultz will be in a brace to avoid a PCL sprain. A lot of times they say that. Slipping or sliding when they say that.
Hey, what kind of barbecue sauce you got for the ribs? Because that's what we're doing all day.
Right.
That's what I'm doing.
All game. I don't care if I'm not. Hey, Cody, I don't care if I'm not getting a sack. I'm hitting him on every play. Every play he dropped back to pass, I got somebody coming from every different angle, especially on that left side where they're going to have to leave a fullback or a running back or a tight end to tip. I'm bringing a blitz up the middle, and Justin Herbert's going. When he leave that game, I'm gonna hit him 20 times.
So let's be clear here. My 2 picks for the Super Bowl were the Chargers and the Cardinals, and they look bad right now after 3 weeks.
Cardinals look terrible.
Sticking with them. Those are my picks, and they won't change.
All right, guys, let me get you a rundown real quick before I jump. Couple people that stand out this week. Obviously, if you're in the fantasy world, you probably jumped on your waivers already. So make sure you check back with us Monday so I can give you the people to target. If you have any questions at all about who you think you should start this week, not too sure, my Twitter's right here and here at Cody Bennett NFL. Check me out. Shoot your questions over. Jamal Williams, if you picked him up, if you were lucky enough to get him, make sure you plug him into your lineup. DeAndre Swift will be out up until the bye week and after. Jamal Williams is a top 10 running back play until then, without a doubt. Drops him down to a top 15, 20 when Swift comes back just because of his limited usage and usage. Red zone usage alone for touchdowns is big for him. Another sleeper option if you're in a deep league, look at his second option, Craig Reynolds. Craig Reynolds is going to be splitting carries with Jamal Williams, and that's going to be he's a nice speed back. I think he's going to get a lot of work. I'm going to be using him in daily fantasy to try to catch myself an edge on somebody who might not be picked. There's a lot of injuries this week as well, which is a little worry. But other than that, Drake London, start him, plug him in your lineup. He's a great option.
He's balling. He's
been balling. Other one is Romeo Doubs in Green Bay. I think Aaron Rodgers is drastically hurting for a target, a number one guy that he can build a connection with. And I think Doubs is that guy. He was lit up last week, and I think he's going to continue that trend this week. So make sure if you were lucky enough to get any of those guys, you plug them into your lineup. And for any other start questions this week, reach me on Twitter.
Appreciate it, Cody. You got anything else for us before you go?
No, that's it, man.
My man, appreciate you.
Hold on. Cody, what is the top defenses to start this week?
Top defenses. So I'm actually a big fan of the none other than the Chargers defense going up against Houston this week. They're projected 7.6 points. Let me actually bring these projections up real quick. And these are more defenses that you're going to find on the wire. I mean, a lot of your top defenses you're not going to have out there just available to grab. But like Green Bay against New England is projected 8.2. I got them in a lot of them, which is really good. Let me get you your top three real quick. But your top three overall projection-wise are your Packers at 8.2, Giants versus Chicago at 7.7, which is a sneaky pick. If you're looking for another daily sneaky start, I'd go with the Giants as well against Chicago. And then the Chargers versus Houston. Houston's 15th overall on offense. The Chargers haven't been too bad in fantasy, but they're projected 7.6. And then Cowboys against Washington, Colts against Tennessee for your 4 and 5.
Okay.
Perfect.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Cody.
All right, fellas.
Cody's going to jump off, guys. We're still going to roll on here on the TD Report. Listen, I want to talk about another theme that I've been thinking about this week. I didn't bring it up in our production meeting because I wanted to give this to you guys fresh. This is about betting on yourself. On this show, we've talked a lot about Lamar Jackson betting on himself and killing it so far 3 weeks in. He looks great. Last night, we saw Mr. Judge hit that 61st home run, okay? 61st home run for the Yankees against, I think they were playing in Toronto. Roger Maris Jr. was sitting there right next to Judge's mom, okay? Very, very cool moment. Very classy thing by the Maris family to be there for the Yankee organization and for baseball. This was a big baseball moment, okay? He bet on himself this year, guys. He turned down a 7-year, $240 million contract, stepped out, and then hit 61 dingers. They're going to have to come to him with that money. You look at what Lamar Jackson's doing this year, okay? And we saw Shannon Sharpe. I saw Shannon Sharpe talking about it on Instagram. He said if they had just paid him his money now, okay, they might only have to guarantee $200 million, $250 million. He messes around and has this statistical season. If he can hold this up and ends the year healthy, takes them into the playoffs, the Ravens are going to end up paying that full $300 million if they want to keep him. This is important. We're seeing two guys really turn down big money, okay, and then bring in big results. This is amazing to me. This is one of the bigger stories in sports. We said it on here before. Today's price is different than yesterday's price. The price is going up. What do you think about that?
Well, my thought process is, Lamar Jackson is doing what he's been doing since he came into the league. He's been doubted back in high school. He was doubted. He was at college. Then when he came to the league, he was supposed to be a wide receiver, and he said he's a quarterback. He's always said he's a quarterback.
100%.
my thing is they're not respecting him in Baltimore, because you take away Lamar Jackson right now, Baltimore definitely 0-3 without a doubt. And I'm talking about it'd be a bad 0-3.
Yes.
Without, I mean, it wouldn't even be close. What Lamar Jackson doing is historically, this man putting his whole team on his back, because the defense is completely awful.
Mhm.
That defense is they're the second leading scoring team in the NFL.
Correct.
Baltimore, they're the second leading scoring team in the NFL, and majority of the touchdowns are coming from Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has more than 22. He has more touchdowns than 22 other teams in the league by himself.
Right.
22
And
other
he
teams.
hasn't played yet this week.
He
So
hasn't even played this way, and he's 20. It's 22 other teams. It's only 10 teams in front of him that has more touchdowns than Lamar Jackson at this point. So for him not to get a guaranteed contract is mind-boggling to me, because once again, Cleveland knew, like Tony has always alluded, he said that Cleveland was playing chess where everybody else was playing checkers. Pay Lamar Jackson, whatever it is, because you don't have no money to pay the defense. The defense is garbage. You're going to have Lamar Jackson to offset that bad defense to get you a pass rusher. So go ahead and pay him whatever you're paying Deshaun Watson. Go ahead and guarantee that money. Give him a couple more dollars just to have him happy about being there. And you see what type of productivity Lamar Jackson's going to do. But what Baltimore is waiting for is to see if he can get them to the postseason and if he can get beyond the second round. That's going to be their selling point. If he can't get beyond the second round, they're going to say, why am I paying you, guaranteed money, and you're 1-3 in the playoffs? So I think that's what the issue is right now.
what do you think, Tony? Jump in here.
Well, you guys know what I think. I've always been a Lamar Jackson fan. I knew that they were making a mistake. See, Baltimore has a problem now. Now they're in what we call a catch-22. If you pay Lamar, your defense is terrible. Your defense is probably going to get worse. Okay? If you don't pay him, your defense is still going to be bad. Now, maybe the guy they got out of Michigan who's hurt, maybe they can say, well, we pay Lamar, we get him back. He's on a rookie deal. He's our edge guy that nobody's not talking about. That may help show up everything that we're doing, and let's get through it. See, the key is, one of my guys sent me a thing about, well, this and that. If you notice, everybody got paid. Check them out. They either on a rookie deal or they got paid. So they working backwards on their team. See, like right now, the Ravens are in what? No man's land. Bad defense, quarterback's not paid. See, you can't have both of them. If you got the quarterback paid and the defense is bad, now you can work yourself. Do something. But when you got both, you in trouble, man. And you're right. I told you about Cleveland. Cleveland did that move. That move was directed at Baltimore, and it was directed at Cincinnati
and Pittsburgh.
But Pittsburgh, they knew Pittsburgh don't have a quarterback to pay anyway.
Kenny Pickett may come in.
Pittsburgh's got Pickett.
But that's like they knew Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow within the next 12 to 24 months are due their money.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, can I? This is something not on what you're talking about. I'm looking at a stat right now, and since 2021, Joe Burrow has been sacked 85 times.
In his career, in his career.
He's not going to make it to the contract. You know, the next person behind him is he been sacked 85 times. The next person is Tannehill and Baker Mayfield, and they're only sacked 52 times. That's the second person. If Cincinnati do not get a line, you ain't got to worry about his contract because he's not going to be in the wall.
That's true. Yeah,
right.
And that's his job. He's got to start taking. I've said it 2 years. I said it at the beginning of this year. Joe Burrow, take care of yourself. You have literally got to start making some business decisions out there. Take that short route and get that football out there. Okay, get it out of your hands. This is a good. That's a good stat, Jody. Thank you for bringing that in.
But he also been hurt too, right?
What's that?
Huh?
He tore that knee up too, right?
Right.
Rookie year.
He tore the knee up one year, and then the next year he's in the Super Bowl. So
Right at the end, that was right at the end of the game. Right at the end of the game, I think it looked like probably a PCL type of injury, and they let him
hot
play
or
through it.
cold, hot or cold. His first year, towards me up. His second year, he's in the Super Bowl. Now his third year, I mean, what we got? Man, it's crazy.
He's going to be running for his life. That's what we got.
He's been
Hey,
sacked
Jody,
He's been sacked 9 times this season already in 3 games.
Yeah. Hey, Jody, you came on a little late. We wanted to get your take on this Dolphins-Bengals game.
Okay.
Thursday game. Go ahead and get that in, because after this, we're going to talk University of Maryland football, because I know Tony wants to get that in. So go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, so basically, I'm sorry I was late. But
no. I'm sorry. I wasn't throwing shade on you, buddy.
No. I'm talking about to the viewers. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
When we're looking at the Miami Dolphins, I think Miami will lose this game. I think the Cincinnati Bengals is built to beat a team like Miami. And reason being is I don't think the Miami pass rush is effective as the other teams they have played, like the Dallas Cowboys and in Week 1 when they played against the Pittsburgh Steelers with T.J. Watt. I think that's the only Achilles heel on this Miami Dolphin defense. I think their secondary is tremendous. I think their linebacking core, but I think their pass rush is limited. So this is a game that Joe Mixon, who has yet to score a touchdown this season, I think Joe Mixon is going to eat in this game. I think Joe Mixon, they're going to mix it up. This is going, and I think Miami is a phenomenal team, but I think the clock is going to strike midnight on them tonight, and I think the Cincinnati Bengals win this game. I think Tua has a good game. It's going to be a back and forth game, maybe a 27-21 type of performance, but I think the Bengals are at a point where they're about to start turning the corner and find out what their identity is, and I think their identity is to run the football with Joe Mixon, and then play action to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. So I like the Bengals in this game, 27-21.
Let's see if somebody on the Cincinnati Bengals offensive staff has been watching and is thinking about that. I like that formula for success. Okay. Tony, you talked about it in the meeting today. University of Maryland football. Is this the best showing in the Big Ten so far early for Maryland? Had a tough loss against Michigan. In my opinion, they should have won that game. They were a little nervous. I'll say this: a little nervous early in the game, fumbled the opening kickoff, and spotted Michigan 7 points. Okay, just gave the ball, I think, on the 10-yard line to start the game. And then Mike Locksley carefully said, "You don't have to help these type of teams. You don't need to help the Michigan and Michigan State with mistakes." If Maryland plays mistake-free, they've got Michigan State coming up, and I think they're favored. I think Maryland's favored.
That's a very winnable game. Michigan State is not the team they were last year.
They're a little bit down. What do you think, Tony?
I think, folks, we have Maryland's offense is dynamic, and they can score on many people. Where Maryland needs to get with the big teams is the guys up front on that defensive offensive line. The skill positions are great. This is the best thing that ever happened to Maryland, to come into the hardest side of the conference, which is the Big Ten East, or whatever they want to call it, Legends, whatever. Playing those 4 teams consistently, along with Indiana almost every year and Rutgers, it doesn't get any better than that. And the recruits, I mean, I think Maryland is up for 8 to 9 wins this year. I mean, I really think they
that'd be a great year for Locksley. That's great for Locksley.
If they won 8 to 9 every year, they could just, to me, extend them 10 years.
Print money.
From where they came from and being in this tough conference, what I think is the best team in the country is Ohio State. You on that side, then you got Penn State, Michigan State. God, Jesus Christ. I mean, come on, man. What more do you want? Mm-hmm. They battled Michigan in the big house, got cheated on the interception, fumbled the opening kickoff. I mean, come on, man, and got some crazy stuff. It could have gone another way. Michigan ain't look like, if Michigan is the 4th best team in the country, then Maryland's in the top 25.
Tua got hurt, so they had that going on.
Tua's brother.
Yeah.
Tagovailoa, the quarterback.
Yeah.
My thing,
he got hurt.
My thing is Maryland. I watched the Michigan Maryland game, and I got to go cover one of the. I got to go cover Maryland and Indiana in the next couple
Oh,
of weeks.
great. Should be a good
But
game.
my thing is Maryland has always had speed. And in the Big Ten, we're not really the fastest conference. You know, that's the SEC normally is known for their speed in the Big 12. The Big Ten has always been a bruiser type of conference. Maryland is bringing that speed. And what I've saw with Maryland that I was impressed with is they're starting to get their guys from the Maryland area. They got Landover, Maryland. They starting. Y'all have a great crop of recruits in that area. And if Maryland can win the East Coast, if they can get some of these kids from Penn State, they can grab some of these kids and keep them at home. Maryland will definitely be a 10-win team in a year. I believe they can be a 10-win team because even in the Big Ten, now you still got to go against Ohio State, who is recruiting nationwide. But Maryland can be that team that started inching up above Michigan State because Michigan State was 11-3 last year. I believe they win 5 games this year. I believe they win 5 games. And Maryland's going to beat Michigan State when they play. And Michigan State about to have a long season. And I think Maryland is that team that can start creeping up there. Them with Minnesota, they can start being that second-tier team to get up there with Wisconsin and them Penn States. Now, I don't know if they're on the Ohio State, Michigan level, but they can start creeping up with the Wisconsins and the Michigan States, of the world in the Big Ten. And I think Maryland is well on their way.
And
the Iowas. Listen,
yeah,
if I'm with you on this, Maryland alums, and me and Tony, between the two of us, we can put our hands on a lot of Maryland alums here. If you told them, hey, listen, you guys are going to be an 8-4, 9-3 type of team, pretty much every year, they'll fill that stadium up every week, buddy. They'll fill it up. Okay, and you can print money. You can print money off that. If Maryland is an 8 to 9 win ball club or program for the next 5 years, Mike Loxley, hey man, go on and buy you a G-Wagon, buddy. You got the money because he's getting extended. Look, what are they at right now, Tony? They're 3-1, 2-1. I think they're 3-1. Maryland's going to win 7-8 games this year, no problem. Okay, and they're going to recruit. Mike Loxley is a well-known recruiter, and he's an offensive guy, offensive guru, and he works well with quarterbacks. It's only a matter of time before he really gets things going on. And hey, Coach Brooks is still there. I mean, it's only a matter of time before Maryland starts really getting good. I'm not going to say anything crazy and say, hey, they can win 10, 11 games. I'm not going to say that, okay? But if they put up that many points on Michigan, I was scared of this from Tony. Ohio State has got to be sitting and saying themselves, we see Michigan, we're going to bust that. We're going to bust it. Because,
I'm not impressed with Michigan's quarterback. I'm not impressed with Michigan's defense. Of course, I'm biased.
They ran the hell out of the ball, though.
Blake Corman's from here, and we're cheering for him and Antoine Littleton. But I'm not impressed with those things by Michigan. I'm not impressed by those things. It's not what you think. It's not. If Michigan is ranked 4th, Maryland's a top 25 team.
But this is the thing, and I'm a big Ohio State fan, but I'm also a fan of the game. And Michigan is a team that plays to the level of their competition too. They tend to always do that in the regular season. So don't think that this Michigan performance against Maryland is what they are. I believe they're a better team than what they displayed last week. Harbaugh, who gets a bad rep, but Harbaugh is a pretty good coach. I think Harbaugh is a guy that he's under fire and he's won everywhere he went. He turned around.
Quarterback is terrible.
Right, and I would think with him being a quarterback that he would be a quarterback whisperer, but that's been the Achilles heel in the Michigan since he's been there. He has yet to get a quarterback. Actually, Michigan has not had a quarterback since
Tom Brady.
Henning, maybe. They have
Tom Brady.
Who?
Since Tom Brady.
Tom Brady
stop
wasn't even
it.
good at Michigan.
Chad Henne.
He was okay.
Chad Henne.
He was the starter in the last half of the senior year when he beat Alabama in the Orange Bowl. He was good enough that night to win my money. He was all right. They haven't had a quarterback since him. Dreisbach, Greasy.
Henne was pretty good.
Chad Henne.
Yeah.
Chad Henne.
They haven't a quarterback since Tom Brady.
So, and I mean, they have to get a quarterback in place if they plan on winning the championship. First of all, let me bring that back. If you plan on being a consistent beating, you want to beat these guys, you can't do it with having mediocre quarterback play. Like I said, you will never see a performance out of Ohio State which they displayed defensively last year against Michigan. You'll never see that again. So Michigan has to be creative. I like the running back they got, but he's not an in between the tackle guy. He's a scat back, and that's very tailor made for Ohio State because we have so much speed on the perimeter. So my thing is Michigan is better than what they showed against Maryland, but Maryland is a pretty good team. I think they recruited well. The Big Ten is actually maybe the best conference in America right now from top to bottom. From top to bottom.
I won't argue against
that.
Well, let me because Tony, you skeptical. Let's talk.
I said
Let's
you had
talk.
the best team. Okay.
Let's talk.
So, if Ohio State is the best and Georgia is the best, Alabama beats your second.
Okay.
Okay.
Then what?
They got Tennessee.
Iowa beat
No.
Tennessee.
I'm not
Iowa beat
impressed. I'm not
Tennessee.
scared of
Iowa
Tennessee.
couldn't even beat Iowa State.
Iowa-
Iowa's not good. Now
Listen.
you got to make an argument about Penn State or Michigan.
Penn State.
I'd like to
give you
see
that.
I'd like to see Tennessee and Maryland match up. I'd
No.
enjoy that.
Now we're talking top to bottom. We're not talking. We know that the SEC is completely top heavy. Auburn is not no. Didn't Penn State just whoop on Auburn?
Penn State beat Auburn.
Didn't they just whoop
So-
on them?
So name the top teams in the Big Ten.
We
Ohio
got Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Maryland.
No, Wisconsin and Maryland. But we talking about the top
talking about
4 or the
perennially?
top 5?
I'm talking about this season.
Top 4 or 5?
Top 4: Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Maryland 3-1.
Okay,
Maryland
so
3.
I give you Minnesota. Let's say
Minnesota.
Okay, so Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, and Kentucky,
Okay.
and Ole Miss. Ole Miss is even.
If you can
Is it
put
Ole Miss
Ole
and
Miss-
Mississippi State, one of them is in the top 25. Which one is it?
okay,
Ole Miss and
listen.
like I said, Ole Miss and Maryland to me, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh my God, Maryland can't get on the field.
Stop that. Pull up your top 25, Jody. Pull it
I
up.
don't even have.
We're the
I
top
only have
25.
my-
I can't pull it up. We
can't
might
pull
have
it
to
up
get.
right.
Somebody
So
pull
look,
up.
see,
This
this is just like Tony. This is just like Tony. He's gonna start an argument right before kickoff. He's gonna start an
Right,
argument right
hold
before
on.
kickoff.
Dave, this
AP
is
top
my
25
problem
top.
with the Tony. You need to listen to this. This is my problem with the top 25. This is what the SEC does every single season. Let me tell you what they do. They go and they have these great recruiting classes, right? So that's how you get ranked in the top 25, right? So they play all these cupcake games, non-conference. So you'll be 3-0 going into conference play. And
They
guess
got
what?
4 in the top 10.
Okay, what does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything because by the end of the year, only 2 of. Okay, I'll say this: at the end of the year, only 2 of those teams will be in the top 10. I'll say that.
Right. And who
Am I wrong?
Dave,
6,
who has these guys played?
7.
Who have they played?
They got
And I'm-
7 teams in the top 25.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
This is why though. Listen, Tony, the reason why I was just telling Dave, they go the SEC because that's what everybody want to see. That's America's conference. They do this, they rank all of them according to their recruiting classes. Then what they do is they play cupcake non-conference schedules. So when they come into the conference schedule, they all 4-0, 3-0. And they're all in the top 25. So when you got Arkansas playing Tennessee, you got number 7 against number 15. So we're like, oh my God, this is a blockbuster game. And then one team blows the other team completely out the damn water. That's what they do every year. It's propaganda.
They
At the
feed
end
on
of
each
the-
other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. They don't. If you look at the SEC non-conference schedule, it's not a lot of those teams that go play anybody. They don't go out here playing nobody.
So, Maryland was playing Charlotte. I was playing Northern Iowa. Minnesota was playing Division I AA.
But
Not even North Dakota
but didn't they
State,
play
North
one
Dakota.
team? Didn't they play look at every Big Ten team? They go out and play somebody. If you look at Alabama, they playing Presbyterian. I thought that was all girls school. Come on, man. They play Citadel. Come on, they play Citadel every year.
Michigan play UConn and Hawaii.
Okay?
That's a great basketball schedule. But football, that shit was terrible.
Ohio State done went and played. They went and played Oregon. They just played Notre Dame. We didn't know Notre Dame was not going to be this good. Ohio State done played. They done went and
Did
played.
Georgia play Oregon?
Yeah, Georgia
Yes.
played Oregon.
And they busted them
And
too.
Alabama played Texas at Texas.
Right.
And
they
should have
know-
lost.
Hold on. And
And shoulda
Alabama know
lost.
Texas is down right now. Georgia's the only one that got the guts to go play somebody non-conference early in the season. Georgia's the only team in that conference. LSU went and played, and guess what happened? They got smoked. Alabama went and played Penn State and got smoked.
I think, hey Tony, I think you got Jody riled up. Hey, listen. All right, guys. Listen.
Hey,
I gotta walk away from this, man. Y'all, listen, we're gonna get y'all to this kickoff here for the Thursday night game. It's the Jody Coleman Show here on the TD Report.
Right, they ain't gonna hate.
hold on. But let's be real. Georgia's the only team that seeks out non-conference people. Georgia go play Oregon. Georgia to go play Clemson. You see Georgia. Georgia has not. They don't fear anybody. Alabama don't go play anybody, in my opinion, is because they know they're Alabama. So they don't have to go play nobody.
Hey, listen.
They're going to be ranked regardless.
I gotta
They
go
almost got
Denzel
stung.
on that. I gotta
They
go
almost got
Denzel on
stung by
that.
Texas. Texas almost stung that.
I gotta go Denzel Washington on that. Alabama is a brand. I guarantee it. I stand by it. That's how he do it. You know what I'm saying?
Alabama they don't have to go play
Alabama.
anybody.
Look, Nick Saban, what he has done at Alabama, just forget the football. Forget the football. He has turned Alabama into an even bigger brand than it was when the Bear was coaching them. It's literally, Alabama might as well be Coca-Cola or Microsoft, Duke University basketball, Amazon. They are a Leviathan. They do, Alabama does what they want. So with that, let's get everyone to the game. So we're going to talk on Thursday. We're going to talk about this Cowboys Commanders matchup. We're going to talk about Sunday's slate of games. We're also going to do something that Tony likes to do. We're going to have fun with numbers. 1961, Roger Maris hit 61 home runs. 2022, 61 years later, Judge hit 61 home runs. Because Tony loves numbers. We're going to talk about that. And I got some more numbers for you, Tony. You like those numbers, right?
Wow.
What do you think about 400? What do you think about 400 million? You think you like 400 million?
Listen,
I like the sound
I'll
of
tell
it.
you, and here's a long shot. Between Judge and Lamar Jackson, that's $1 billion. Over under on that. Judge and Jackson, $1 billion.
You know what, Tony?
I think the two combined deals, total value of the deal,
$1 billion.
they'll break a
over
billion.
under.
They'll break a billion.
Now this is the thing, Tony. You probably right, but Judge is not going. The Yankees ain't gonna pay him. Guess who's gonna pay him? The Mets.
Or the Dodgers.
Nah, the Dodgers can't afford him. The Mets can, and he's already home. He ain't got to move houses. He can go
Wow.
right over to the Metropolitans, and they got a good team. They got a good
Pretty
team.
good team. They got a pretty good team.
I think he would put him at that next level. And the Mets had the money. They got
Hey,
long
are
to go.
either one of those guys married right now?
No.
I don't think so.
But they ain't gonna get married.
Hey, listen. You could have a face like a mackerel. You give me a $600 million contract, I'll show you the women. I will show you the women. I could look like a daggone dog at $600 million. Hey, what I always say, Tony, ain't nobody too cool for $600 million.
Hey,
Amen.
you ain't never seen an ugly millionaire. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Ask it, and guess what? Ask any good-looking woman, and she'll tell you the same thing. I remember this Marilyn Monroe thing. It was a movie where she was dating this straight-up herb from the burbs, and his father was rich, and he said, you're dating my son for his money. And she said, no, I'm not. I'm dating him for your money. Let me tell
Hey,
you, fellas, you young men out here in the street, these young single guys. Well, Jody's single, Tony is married. Young single guys out there, make you 600 million, get you a fine ass woman. You be all right.
you get
Hey,
more than
hey,
one.
Jay.
Hey, you get more than one if you want to. I'm just saying.
They turn
Hey,
40,
Jay.
trade her in for 220s.
Hey, let's thank. I like to thank Sean. I like to thank Chuck. I like to thank Big Wayne.
Wayne
All
the
you guys
voice,
always coming in and thank the guys. We're gonna be trying to do
DK.
something new and get DK. We're gonna try to do something new and get Jody's TikTok people on this
Yep,
so we can start ramping up and getting everything going. This first quarter of the season. Tonight starts is probably the first quarter. We
yep.
still at 16. First quarter of the season starts after this weekend. 4 games can kind of tell you a little bit about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you enough of a warm up to kind of start see what the hell is going on. I
Yep,
like to thank those guys. Shane, big Redskin fan.
yep,
Chuck, big Cowboys fan.
yep.
Wayne, our guys, big Steeler fan. I like to thank y'all guys for coming in and commenting. We don't see the comments come across. That's why we can't get you. But we're going to try to switch to another format so you guys can go on Jody's TikTok and we can kind of be more interactive with you guys.
I'm gonna
Yep.
see if Cody can. I'm gonna talk to Cody offline.
Yeah,
To see
we'll
if
work
he can-
something out.
Cause
Yeah,
I personally don't know how to do it. I'm not a great tech guy. I was
yeah.
a marketing major in college, not
I
you
feel
know.
you, buddy. Hey, guys,
Yeah.
have a great week and enjoy the games on Sunday. We'll talk.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, everybody. This is the TD
Monday
Report.
night.
Jody
See y'all
Coleman.
Monday
I'm sorry,
night.
Jody Coleman over there and Big Tony, my
Jody.
man. Appreciate you,
All right.
Tony.
See y'all.
We're out.
Cincinnati tonight. Oh, I forgot. Please tune in. The first game is the Saints and the Vikings, 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. We forgot to tell you. This week is going to be an early game. And also, we want to make sure that we send out to our prayers out to the people in Florida. Um, sorry what happened with the hurricane. We want to send our condolences and prayers out to the people who've lost people there. We're with you guys. All right. Thank you. See you this weekend. Hopefully you can watch all the games. Go Cowboys.